It can discuss ancient history, debug your code, suggest a recipe, and explain philosophy. It sounds like it knows almost everything. But it never sat in a classroom, never read a book the way you do, and isn't browsing the web while it answers. So where does all that knowledge actually come from? The short answer? It learned from text. Before it could answer anything, the model was shown an enormous amount of human-written text and trained to find the patterns in it. Its knowledge is really a compressed impression of everything it read, not facts filed away in folders, but patterns absorbed from billions of examples of how people write and what they write about. What text exactly? Broadly, a huge slice of the public internet. Books, articles, reference sites, discussion forums, and code. Think of it as a giant snapshot of things people have written down. Nobody handpicked every sentence. It's wide by design. And that breadth is exactly why one model can talk about medieval history and Python in the same breath. Both were somewhere in what it read. This part matters. It is not storing a copy of all that text and looking things up. During training, it adjusts millions of internal settings so it gets better at predicting text. What remains afterward is the pattern, not the page. That's why it can paraphrase, blend ideas, and answer questions that were never in its data. And also why it usually can't quote a source word for word or tell you exactly where something came from. It learned the shape of knowledge, not a filing cabinet. Here's a big consequence. Training happens up to a certain point, a cutoff. After that, the model's picture of the world simply stops. Ask about something that happened later, and it has no idea, or it guesses. It isn't hiding information or being lazy. That part of the world was never in what it learned. The knowledge is a snapshot, not a live feed. Because it learned from human text, it inherits what's in that text. The upside is enormous range. The catch? If something is common in the data, the model leans that way, including mistakes, outdated ideas, and bias. It doesn't weigh truth, it absorbs frequency. Popular phrasing and majority viewpoints get amplified, while rare or underrepresented ones come through faint. In a real sense, it mirrors what people wrote. It isn't a neutral judge of what's correct. This one is worth sitting with. The model is excellent at what do people usually say here. Often that's useful, and sometimes it's exactly wrong. A widely repeated myth can sound more confident than a niche truth, simply because it appeared more often. Breadth gives you a strong generalist, but depth on any specific topic depends on how much good material existed about it, and you can't tell that from the answer alone. Despite all that, the range really is staggering, because the volume of text was staggering. It picked up grammar, facts, styles, formats, and reasoning patterns from countless examples. That's the upside of learning from nearly everything. It's a true generalist. The trade-off is simply that it's wide, but not equally deep everywhere. So how do we get past a frozen snapshot? 3 ways. 1. Train a new version on newer data. 2. Fine-tune it with extra targeted material to sharpen specific areas. And 3, the everyday one, connect it to live tools like web search or your own documents, so it works from fresh information instead of memory. That last one is why a model with web access can discuss today's news, even though its core knowledge still has a cutoff. So, an AI's knowledge is a compressed impression of a huge amount of human-written text, frozen at a point in time, carrying both the strengths and the flaws of its sources. Powerful and broad, but not a live, neutral oracle. Next episode, what actually happens inside training that turns plain text into this ability? See you there!